Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Hello Facebook ads people, I'm Konstantinos, and today we're going to talk about the death of the crazy method. So, like everything, there are things that are coming to our lives and then they're not working. The crazy method is still working, but I don't just see the reason in a complex ad account that we have now the possibility of doing endless advanced plus campaigns to use the crazy method. Let me tell you what is my opinion about it. I think that we should not be always one-trick ponies as we teach on the channel. Basically, the crazy method is a method that I have been using since 2016, and I was using broad targeting back in the days on 2016-17, while other people were telling me that this is bad and stuff, and the crazy method was my way of using broad targeting because nobody was talking about broad targeting on that period. Whoever was using broad targeting at that point was crazy because it was the period that interests were working and stuff. But I have realized after some point that on trained pixels you could use broad targeting. I never used it alone on a single adset or on an ABO, but I was using it with crazy method with the hot pockets and all of this that I have taught you all of these years. So right now we're in a period that everything is going towards the broad targeting, and we're having also the advanced plus. If we didn't have the advanced plus, we would be still be using the crazy method like we are using it until now on some accounts that we have only 8 advanced plus campaigns per country. The thing is that things are changing and we should not just stay on the past and just evolve and become better and better and better. I think I have analyzed extensively on my video about my Facebook ads philosophy for 2024 that if this change is going to happen, which is happening now and we know by the end of June it's going to happen, that I will be using only advanced plus campaigns on accounts that advanced plus campaign is working. I know that some accounts still are not going to be able to do advanced plus campaigns and they're not going to work for them, but most probably these are ad accounts that they are going to be ad accounts with untrained pixels. So the ultimate goal of each ad account eventually is going to go to broad targeting and of course to advanced plus because it's going to have lower CPMs comparing to a CBO. Another thing that I have realized is that CBO campaigns are more fragile comparing to advanced plus campaigns, not only to scaling, which we don't like anyway because we do extra campaign stacking, but also on bad periods. On bad periods like March, I have seen that the ad accounts that they had a mix of advanced plus campaigns and CBOs, they have been impacted more, and only the CBO campaigns, not so much the advanced plus campaigns. Accounts that they had only advanced plus on them, they performed much better without big fluctuations and all of that. So I'm changing my strategy a little bit more to where I can do it on the other accounts that I can do it to only advanced plus campaigns. Is it the end this year or the other year? It doesn't matter. I think that CBO campaigns is something that we're not going to use, especially on trained ad accounts. We're going to use it on new ad accounts. I have a video which I posted about how to train a pixel on 2024 in a new ad account. As you can see over there, we still have to use interests. We still have to use lookalikes later and then go eventually to broad targeting because CPM is cheaper on a new pixel there. On small countries, for instance, you can go immediately and you can do advanced plus campaigns and it's going to work because the potential is small. On bigger countries, maybe you need to work a little bit with interests and lookalikes and then move to broad targeting. Also, comparing to the past, I can see that this period it's much smaller of training the pixel. Back in the day, you needed 5-6 months to train a pixel, and now in 2-3 months I was able to go into profitable ad accounts as I showed in this case study video. Hi guys, I would like to interrupt this video in order to talk to you about my new mentorship programs, and I would love if you go to the website. You're going to find the link in the description or you can find it in the menu of my website, and over there you're going to be able to see the different mentorship programs that I have. You can find the one that is going to fit better your needs, and I will hope to see you there. So we're transitioning more into a period that the crazy method or the CBOs and stuff, maybe this should be also, is it the end of the CBO campaign? But you know, I care more about the crazy method. Maybe we're transitioning in a period that we're just going to do advanced plus campaigns, and you know, it's something that it doesn't bother me at all. because it's going to be much more simple and it's going to be easier for people to have successful ads. And we're going to focus more on the Advantage Plus optimization, which is another thing. Instead of having complex CBO campaigns, crazy method and all of that, which I realized by creating the channel that it's not so easy to explain to people and it's taking more time because of the questions that I get and stuff. But when you talk about Advantage Plus optimization, it's easier for people to understand it and work with it. I think that CBO optimization, the crazy method, they're more difficult, especially the CBO optimization. We're transitioning there. Most probably we're not going to use CBO or CBO crazy method in any of the trained ad accounts, and we're going to use it only on new ones, or on other accounts maybe that Advanced Plus for some reason is not working and we will have to do CBO crazy method. Maybe we can use it also on local areas for lead generation on specific mile radius. If they add the geolocation as they say on Advantage Plus, most probably the lead generation is going to be done also with Advantage Plus. So the options are less and less. Also keep in mind that eventually they're having also this Advantage Plus audience, which is all about starting with an interest and expanding to the broad audience. And I think that they are just making this new audience to the CBO campaigns, the new audience section, instead of the original one that we had. They make it in order to bridge the gap between the trained pixels that they can do broad and the other pixels that they are not trained and they have to use some interests, so that they can go faster to the phase that they will go to them, that they can go to the Advantage Plus broad targeting. Maybe it's the end of the crazy method, maybe it's the end of the CBO optimization, all the things that we have been doing. It has been a really nice ride, and maybe we're going to use them, but in rare cases that nothing else is working, or in newer accounts until they get trained. It's not going to be one of our main strategies, the same way that the Blender method died, and maybe it's going to come back with the Advanced Plus audience, who knows. That's, I guess, the end of it. So you're going to see less and less content from now on the crazy method, and most probably it's going to be only on new ad accounts. Just before we close the video, I would like to show you something that I have seen in only one ad account from all the ones that I'm managing, and it's going to be something like, at the end of the movie we see something that it's, talking a little bit about part 2. Maybe we have a part 2 with crazy method, and I'm going to explain you what I mean. In this ad account, if you create here from the sales one Advantage Plus campaign, I noticed something which is a little bit strange. It says budget strategy, campaign budget, and it's having the meta Advantage Plus. It says Advantage Plus products help you get the most from AI and all that. So over here we have this one, and we can set a budget for our Advantage Plus campaign. Until now, when we are creating one campaign, let me create one, and we come here to sales, we go, and we see this structure of having the same campaign level and ad set at one, and then we have the ad, which is the second. On this ad account though, I'm seeing that we have campaign level, ad set level, and ad level. And you know what I did? I pressed this button in order to see if we can create more ad sets inside. And we can create more. So who knows? I have seen it only in one ad account, so I don't know if it's going to be available in other ad accounts. This is why I'm not going to make a video about it. I told you what I think that is going to happen with the CBO and crazy method if it continues like this. But if we have this, most probably we will run crazy method Advantage Plus campaigns. And I don't know if it's going to work, because my initial test, I'm not going to lie, my initial test with this was a complete fail. But in this ad account, Advanced Plus campaigns are not working well yet, and we have to train the pixel more. The point is that if I can test it in more ad accounts, I will be able to tell you if it's working or not. I don't believe that they're creating all of that so that Konstantinos can run a crazy method, or because they want you to have several ad sets. I believe that the only reason that they are testing this is so that people can test if they can have different bids over here. So you're going to have an Advanced Plus campaign, and you're going to have a different bid here and there and there. It's like you're running a CBO with a bid, On the other hand, it's not an ABO. You don't have the option of actually turning off this one. Here it doesn't have anything else. Increase your budget, no. Highest volume, you can just change the bid strategy. Okay, you can put 4 ROAS and all of that. And I think that this is where all the game is going to be played on this advanced class. Maybe they want you to have different ad sets, that they're going to have different ads maybe, or you can have the same and you can have different bid. This is the reason that they believe that they made it, because they're against consolidation, not for any other reason. But most probably if they made it for that reason, it means that I can exploit it for crazy method, because I don't care of what they say. The crazy method has served me really well for all of these years and a lot of my clients. So that's what I had, just a small glimpse in something that might happen, but we will see. Recently one person also sent me that they have seen it in another ad account also, so I don't know. All I know is that all the changes about advanced plus campaigns are going to be ready by the end of June, which is the time that we will know what is going to be the final structure. As of now, we know for sure that we will have unlimited, and most probably geolocation and maybe gender. Gender, for example, is something that I haven't seen in any of my ad accounts. I have seen geolocation and I have seen unlimited advanced plus campaigns. So for these two, I'm pretty sure, because if you see it in many ad accounts, it means that it's being rolled to more and more ad accounts. Now, seeing that, it means that they are starting to test this across ad accounts to see if they are going to use it or not based on the results and the feedback maybe that they are going to have. That's all I have. I will see you for the closing of the video. Don't forget that if you want to learn more, you can check my book, my course, my website, and of course my mentorship programs. And until we meet again, guys, be creative and be consistent.